hand items, all kinds of stuff I could open up. If I was starving and on my last meal, there's plenty there. I wouldn't starve to death. But you know what? There's ain't nothing there. Apostle Paul says here, to be content, to focus on those things, not to focus on the circumstances around us, to understand whatever condition, whatever state we're in, to be content. You know what? I've mentioned this before. I can get down and discouraged and kind of get a little pity party and a woe is me moment. I can drive by the First Baptist Church at Daytona Beach and see all them guys sleeping on the sidewalk, and you know what? God wakes me up real quick and says, hold on, buddy, looky there. I ain't homeless. Contentment comes by refusing to focus on your circumstances. It shouldn't depend on your circumstances. You know, a lot of folks in this world have the idea that if they could just win the lottery. Oh, preacher, if I could just win that lottery. You know, that would answer every problem I've got. If I could just get that, all that $386 billion, million, whatever it is. If I could just win that, that would answer everything for me. But you know what? You could win that today, and 3 weeks from today, walk to the doctor and say, I've been feeling kind of bad. There's something going on right here. And the doctor ran a few tests and said, I got bad news for you. You got 6 weeks to live. What about all of that millions of dollars that you just won? The circumstance didn't bring contentment. The circumstance didn't change nothing. You're a $300 million millionaire with 6 weeks to live. Had a buddy of mine, he constantly said, boy, if I just win that. And I gave him that scenario one day. He said, don't tell me that. I said, I'm telling you the truth. Because contentment doesn't come through all of those things. Money can't buy peace of mind. I talked about my in-laws, my mother-in-law, but my father-in-law was a man that could be content with a good weed eater, a rototiller, and a few rows of taters and onions and tomatoes. He lived on about $460-something a month and was the happiest man I ever met. Why? Because he knew Jesus. And he was content in whatever. You never know if he didn't have a dime in his name. But he was happy and content. The circumstances didn't change any of that. Let me move on. And lastly, contentment comes by relying on the Lord's strength. Contentment comes from relying on God. Verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. Relying on Him. Not trusting in the things of this world of men. You know, it's amazing to me how folks, they get so wrapped up in politicians. They get wrapped up, and you know, we've had a big change in the U.S. with Donald Trump. Whether you like him or not, I don't preach politics. I don't go there. He's done a lot of things that a lot of people like. A lot of things that this preacher's liked. Sometimes I think they need to take his phone away from him. But there's been so many people that got so wrapped up if this guy gets elected, or if this person gets elected, or if this happens, this will change and answer everything for us. I'm going to tell you something, folks. The only answer is Jesus.
Amen.
It's Jesus. It ain't a Bush, it ain't a Clinton, it ain't a Trump, it's Jesus. That's where the answer is. Simply. We've got to rely on the Lord's strength. And you know, I truly believe that God can make America great again. God can. God can. And I pray that He does. But you know, many times I think about how things have changed in our world and in our country. How our country has just kind of laid God to the side. You know, I'm old. And I think back to now that my schooling is finally over, I finally got to graduate. I think back to when I was a kid and I went to school, and when my teachers, they would read the Bible to me. I got a Bible on my desk. You know what? I get in conversations sometimes like in the past, now that I'm gone. But I would have kids ask me about the Bible. They'd ask me questions. I'd answer them. But I think back to when I was a kid, how we sung hymns. They read the Bible. We stood every day and pledged allegiance to the flag. And then how all of a sudden now we fast forward on down to my life and all of that stuff is gone. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you better not do that. Oh, man. And we wonder why our country has gone the direction that it's gone. I rely on God's strength. And I find that contentment because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know what? I can overcome whatever situation there is. Sometimes we think, oh, preacher, you just don't know. You know, 10 years ago, April the 16th, one Wednesday morning, I had a big tall surgeon split my sternum and sawed me back and stopped my heart and rerouted 3 arteries. When I woke up, I thought the biggest L&M train they ever made had run over me. And I laid in the hospital bed for several days thinking, God, why is this happening? And I got so sick that I thought I was leaving, I thought I was leaving here. And I got home, I finally got home about 7 days later. They finally let me out of the hospital, and my wife, they led me in the house, set me down in the recliner. I couldn't get up, couldn't go to the bathroom by myself, couldn't get a drink, couldn't nothing. I was an invalid, 46 years old. And I thought, man, my life's over. I didn't have enough wind. I felt like I was 95 years old. 46. And for just a few minutes, Bob, just for a couple minutes, just for a few days, I began to get in this pity thing and think, oh, God, why did all this happen? And I got home and they handed me the TV remote. And I turned it on to satellite radio and I heard Mike Bowen sing, your prayers have awoken the Master. Your cries have awoken the Master. Whew. And then right after that, I heard them boys from Candler, North Carolina, the Primitives, sing, I'm no longer an orphan. Whew. If I could have got up, I'd have shouted in the living room.